Have you ever prayed for something so deeply, so desperately, that it brought you to tears? That was Hannah's story. For years, she longed for a child, but her womb remained empty. Her pain ran so deep that it could not be hidden. She poured her heart before God, weeping bitterly, asking Him for the one thing her soul desired most. Others misunderstood her anguish. Her rival mocked her, and even Eli the priest mistook her grief for drunkenness. But Hannah was not drunk, she was broken. It was in that brokenness she found the strength to pray, trust, and ultimately rejoice. Out of her sorrow came Samuel, one of Israel's greatest prophets. Out of her grief came a song of joy that still encourages us today. Her story is proof that God can transform tears into triumph. Hannah was married to Elkanah, a man who loved her deeply, but their marriage carried a heavy shadow. Hannah had no children. In a culture where children meant legacy and honor, her emptiness was a source of deep pain. To make matters worse, Elkanah's other wife, Peninnah, had many children and used every opportunity to mock and provoke her rival. Each year, as the family went up to Shiloh to worship, Hannah's heart broke anew. Elkanah tried to comfort her. "Why are you weeping? Am I not more to you than 10 sons? But some wounds words cannot soothe. Hannah's grief was raw and relentless. This part of her story reminds us that even faithful believers wrestle with unanswered prayers, hidden pain, and unfulfilled desires. Yet pain, when surrendered to God, can become the soil for faith. One year at Shiloh, Hannah could not carry her burden any longer. She slipped quietly to the tabernacle and knelt before the Lord. With silent tears streaming, she made a vow. "Lord Almighty, if you will look on your servant's misery and give me a son, I will dedicate him to you for all his days." Her lips moved in silent prayer, but no sound came. From a distance, Eli the priest assumed she was drunk and rebuked her. But Hannah answered with humility, "I am not drunk. I am pouring out my soul before the Lord." Eli then spoke blessing. "Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant your petition." In that moment, something shifted. Though she left still childless, she walked away with peace in her heart. This is faith, trusting God before the answer arrives. In due time, God remembered Hannah's prayer. Her barren womb became a place of life. She conceived and bore a son, naming him Samuel, saying, "Because I asked the Lord for him." Her tears turned into laughter, her waiting into fulfillment. Yet Hannah's faith was not just about receiving, it was about surrender. When Samuel was weaned, she took him to the tabernacle and presented him to Eli. "For this child I prayed, and the Lord has granted me my petition. Therefore, I give him back to the Lord. For his whole life he shall belong to him." Imagine the courage it took to release her miracle. Samuel grew in God's presence and later anointed Israel's first 2 kings, Saul and David. Hannah's faith shows us that what we dedicate to God has power to bless generations. From her heart flowed a song of triumph, one of the most powerful prayers in Scripture. "My heart rejoices in the Lord my horn is lifted high. There is no one holy like the Lord, there is none besides you, there is no rock like our God." This was more than gratitude for answered prayer, it was a declaration of God's greatness. Hannah celebrated the God who reverses human circumstances. The barren becomes fruitful, the poor are lifted, the humble are exalted. Her song was prophetic, echoing into the future and inspiring Mary's Magnificat centuries later. Hannah's personal testimony became a national anthem of hope. It shows us that God doesn't just meet needs, He magnifies His glory through the transformation of His people's lives. Hannah's story continues to challenge and encourage us. First, God hears even our most broken prayers. Hannah didn't come with perfect words, she brought tears, and God answered. He invites us to bring Him our raw, honest hearts. Second, faith trusts before the answer comes. Hannah walked away in peace after Eli's blessing, before she ever conceived. True faith rests in God's character, not just His gifts. And third, what we give to God multiplies far beyond us. Samuel was not only Hannah's son, he became a prophet who shaped Israel's future. What we dedicate to God, our children, our talents, our work, carries generational impact. Hannah's story shows us prayer changes things, but surrender changes everything. Hannah's journey reminds us that God can turn sorrow into song. He hears your prayers, even the ones whispered through tears. He sees the burdens that weigh on your soul, and He knows the desires you cannot even put into words. When He answers, His joy is not just for you, but for everyone touched by your story. Hannah's tears became triumph, and her prayer became prophecy. That same God is still at work today, hearing, answering, and turning pain into praise. So keep praying, keep believing, and keep surrendering. Your story is not finished until God brings the victory. If this message strengthened your faith, share it with someone who needs encouragement to keep praying. And don't forget to subscribe for more Bible stories of hope, courage, and joy.